Greetings, fellow weirdo enthusiasts. This is quite an interesting encounter. Interesting character. I think he's probably one of the most popular. Popular isn't a word that we should use. Infamous. There you go. That's a good one. One of the most infamous people from Hensen V Predator. There's been a little bit of some discussion in the comments of the last video about his age, because I said it's like a perspective that should he be treated any differently than someone who's 30 and 40 years old. I don't have... It'd be ridiculous of me to say that I am in possession of the absolute truth, but in my opinion, I would treat, because of the fact that you're very close to being a child, your brain hasn't fully developed, you lack the judgment than what an adult would. That doesn't mean under any circumstances that you should... I need to make this clear. It never ceases to amaze me the wrong interpretation that people take. People listen to words and they completely interpret it a different way, which is, we're all guilty of that. We all, But anyway, he has to, and he does face punishment. But do you alter? And I'm sure the thing is, we'll go into it further in the video anyway.
How often do you go on the internet
to do that?
to do this stuff?
Not with girls, not little girls.
That's quite interesting, isn't it? Not with girls, little girls. I mean, it's a little bit disturbing that he said that, because that is on his brain, little girls. That says everything I need to know about his compulsions. That's a word that Chris likes to use a lot. He is attracted to prepubescent children. He is, in my opinion, a proper, I don't like saying that word very often, but he is a... Well, actually, I'm not going to say the word because it might get the video struck down, but I think you get what I'm saying. It begins with P and it's got numerous syllables. Yeah, he is one. It's as crazy as it sounds. You can't dehumanize someone for that. It is a condition that people are born with. It's medically, it's scientifically proven that it is a genetic condition. It also has been speculated that some occasions it changes and you develop it as you go on through life. That is it's interesting, but I do believe that that's the case. You can't put them all under the same umbrella. But just listen to what he said. These are his own words. Chris said, let's just go back because it's an interesting...
Yeah. No, I never told anybody anything.
Fucking hell. This series of mine's going to go into like 5...
How often do you go on the internet?
To do that...
How often do you go on the internet? That's all Chris's question was.
To do this stuff.
Not with girls, not little girls.
Not with girls. And then he corrects himself, little girls. That, it's on his mind, and he's said that unsolicited. If you are someone who... I'm sorry to keep using him, but I do... Lorne is a great example for these type of characters. It's not on his mind, little girls. I'm not saying that it's like it is with him. He knows that he's attracted to very young people. You can see the picture of the girl that was in I think it was in the last video in the chat log. She looked like a child. There's no two ways about it. I mean, Kayla did, but Kayla was starting to develop, so at least you've got... I mean, she had like... Well, I can't remember from the photos whether she did or not, but I think... It feels even weird saying it, but I think she'd started to develop breasts or whatever. I can't remember, but I assumed that...
Well, what made you do it this time? I mean, just help me to understand what was going on in your mind.
I don't know, that's the problem.
Well, you gotta know, Vincent. You're an adult now.
He does know. He's either lying or he can't articulate it. Probably a bit of both.
You get this as a felony, right? What are you gonna do about this situation?
Good question.
I mean, you gotta pull it together.
I know. Listen, let's put aside all the shit that happened with Chris, right? You've got to remember, try and put that out. And to be honest, I probably should have looked into that situation a bit more, but I don't. I just didn't. For whatever I'm not really interested, to be honest. If I'm being totally, I know maybe I should, but I just don't give a fuck. But let's put that aside, right? He's great at this. He really fucking is, and let's not forget that. Do you know what I mean? It's like the guy's a master, and it doesn't get talked about enough because we just take it for granted. The way that he can come across as stern, he can come across as hard, but he can also come across as quite warm, compassionate, and I believe he has a genuine interest, and I like the way he questions people and he adapts. He's just a great journalist.
Where'd you go to school?
Ketchum.
Where?
Ketchum and Wappingers.
Ketchum and Wappingers Falls.
Yeah.
Did you finish?
I failed English, participation in government, economics. I'm supposed to be doing them online. I don't have any motivation to do anything.
Well, what happened?
The guy's depressed, and you can feel for him, but it doesn't really change what he's done. You can't use it as an excuse. I genuinely believe he has. Even from this, you can tell the guy's got low self-esteem. He's got low confidence, and he's got issues that he needs to overcome. And that may have led him to make. If he had been in a better position in life, would he have been able to control these attractions rather than going down the path of... Because the thing is, what we do as people, if we're feeling down, you know, if you're a guy, generally, you'll go out and get a one-night stand if you're feeling like shit to make yourself feel better. It doesn't ultimately make you feel better. It's just like a drug, really. It's just like a quick fix. Did he do... You know, would it have been... If he'd have been able to get his life sorted out and had a bit more confidence, could this have been avoided? Could he have got a grip of it? With how strong his compulsions seem to be, and from what I've seen of the chat log, I'm not too sure.
Your motivation?
Just this depression, so crippling.
Did you go see somebody, a doctor?
And I believe that. I do believe there's a sincerity that's coming from him here. When he says that the depression is crippling. It's interesting what he said earlier as well. You can remember from the last video when he complained. I know it was pathetic, really, that he complained. Oh, look at the way I dressed. Everybody thinks I'm a weirdo. That's self-sabotage. So he's fully aware how it makes him look, but he does it anyway. And that's what happens when you feel like shit. You've got these complicated emotions that you don't fully understand, and they come in layers. You've got like shame and guilt and anger. And if you've not got proper guidance, it can create a mess. And that can lead to self-sabotage because ultimately you believe that you deserve it. And you might not be fully consciously aware, but to do that is to bring punishment on himself because he thinks that that's what he deserves. If your self-esteem is that low and you've been bullied and you've been called this and you've been called that and your dad treated you like shit, you know, and you have developed a self-image, and that self-image of yourself is a negative one, it can lead to self-sabotage.
I'm seeing it. What is he? I think he's like a nurse practitioner, kind of. He prescribes my medicine, and I'm not a big talker about my feelings, so he talks to me about it.
I believe him. You know, you've got to believe someone until they give you a reason not to, because lies are pretty easy to spot, unless you're an expert, and even then, you can... You know, but I believe what he's saying now.
When I go, he prolongs the appointment for me.
So you've been diagnosed with depression?
Bipolar depression.
Bipolar depression? Okay.
It's a tough disease.
You see what I mean? Chris is genuine. Listen, I don't think Chris is going to go home this night and go, oh, that poor guy. But he does show empathy, and it seems genuine to me.
What do you take for it?
And it's good. If it was like, I don't know, think of the fucking cop who interviewed McFetridge. He was great, but obviously it's kind of a, you know, a stern character. If he was doing this now, I know it's ridiculous because he's a cop and not a TV presenter, but do you get what I mean? He wouldn't have got the same. He's relaxing and giving him information. I think part of him wants to as well. I think he's in a situation where he hasn't really got any other option. I mean, I suppose he can do one and leave, but I think part of him is glad to get it off his chest, and that has happened before, hasn't it? In other segments, in other,
I'm on the Lexapro, gabapentin, and Adderall. Supposed to give me energy to want to do things.
Goes without saying, this is 100% the truth. He's not just making up these medications off the top of his head.
But I had fucked that up. I didn't realize what it.
I mean, you don't seem
A little part of me felt sorry for him. Then I've got to be honest.
like a dumb guy, Vincent.
He gave me 10 milligram tablets to start with 10 twice a day. He says that doesn't.
I mean, what a difficult. Let's just put aside what he's done. Let's say that we judge him on the merit of what we see there. Listen, I was on medication for a very short amount of time. Nothing like that, only one kind. And to be on all that at that age, what a dreadful. Dreadful's not the right word because it makes it sound like it's the worst thing ever. But it is possible to overcome it. But what a ridiculously challenging life circumstance you've got there.
Want to bump it up a dose to 220.
And sorry to, you know what I'm like. I've got a lot to say about everything. I have massive reservations about medication in these circumstances. I listen. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a fancy doctor. But I have a pretty good take on it. I've got some background in not medicine, but I suppose you could. Never mind. But it's I think we can all agree doctors throw it at you too much now, and it can be looked at as a solution. It's not a solution. It's a temporary relief, and especially like someone's so young and your brain's still developing, and you're throwing all kinds of pills at you. I mean, the damage can be irreparable, and the long-term effects are really not fully understood. It's fucking all the answers can be found in your less extreme circumstances in like your lifestyle choices. Nutrition is massive, fucking enormous, cannot be overstated.
To 210.
Or understated.
So 20 twice a day. I bumped it up to 30. He refilled the prescription. I didn't realize he refilled the prescription. That's why I said in the last message before I came, I have aches and stuff. It's because I didn't realize when he refilled it, he bumped it up to 30 tablets. So I could take just one tablet in the morning and one at 12 o'clock noon. I was taking 330, so I was taking 180 a day.
That's a lot of Adderall. What did that do to you?
I was so antsy. I was angry at my dad. I was angry at everybody. I picked my fingernails to nothing. I've had withdrawal there for the last couple of days because he can't refill it because it's not October, and now the fucking insurance company doesn't want to refill 30 twice a day extended release because they say it's too high of a dose. But I'm fat, so the 30 didn't bother me.
Did you ever try to diet?
Fucking good question.
Actually, with the Adderall, I lost weight. I lost about 20 pounds, and I've lost 40 pounds since January.
That's pretty good. It seems like in that respect you were heading...
Yeah, and if you look at the picture, in fact, if you look at the picture on the right here, it looks significantly bigger to me. Look at the chin. Well, if you can call it a fucking chin. Or should I say second head underneath his jawline. That's significantly bigger there, isn't it? I think he has lost some weight, and I'm lucky. I've got really high metabolism, which is a posh way of saying I'm a skinny fucker. But to have that kind of challenge when in a world that's so obsessed with appearance will be difficult. You know what I mean? Listen, right, before anybody fucking jumps in the comments and says, are you sticking up for him? Fuck off, right? Because get real. Sorry I went off, but it fucking winds me up sometimes. I'm seeing it. I'm saying it doesn't happen that often, but I'm saying it how it is. Do you know what I mean? If you want somebody who's just going to call these guys monsters for the sake of it, there's plenty of other channels out there.
In the right direction, but here you headed in the wrong direction. How are you going to get back on track here?
He says he wants to try now a month with this Adderall to see if it works. I just want to get shock therapy.
It's that bad.
They're fucking that age.
I sat on the floor and I cried the other night to my mom.
I believe I believe him. The problem is, it doesn't really excuse what he's done. It's a separate issue. In a way, I suppose the decision, and you've got to decide for yourself, is would he, if he had got his shit together, it's probably a good way of putting it, would he have been able to sort this out? You know, would he have been able to, if he'd have sorted his shit out, if he'd have had the correct guidance? And the thing is, with depression, things like that, if you have the right spiritual guidance from the right age, it can be avoided unless there's extreme circumstances. Sometimes it can be your gut biome. So the food that you eat it goes to the brain. There's like I think it's called the gut brain biome. I'm sure Shin probably knows. And that basically it affects your mood, and sometimes that can be damaged, and that can cause depression. But in most circumstances, it's just not being able to deal with your emotions properly and not accepting certain things. Humans were such complicated creatures. We really are. It's a fucking miracle that this world. I mean, obviously things are getting nuts, really, but it's a miracle that the world runs as well as what it does. It really is.
I said, I don't want to feel like this anymore. I don't want to get up. I don't want to get out of bed.
What you got to remember is, like, 10 minutes ago, he wasn't crying. But he also didn't seem that... He wasn't, like, he didn't appear to be an overly happy person when he walked in there. He was quite in a somber mood. He wasn't skipping like Lorne, was he? You know, think about how joyous he was. He came in very proud, very excited. So you are dealing with a different situation. You know, I'm not here to tell people how it is because I don't know the absolute truth. You got to make your own mind up, and you know, it's a complicated issue. I think it's really interesting because of his age and his condition. It brings up a lot of questions.
What did she say to you?
She cries. She feels horrible for me.
And you live at home?
And I do take care of my grandfather.
Yeah.
He has Parkinson's.
How is he doing?
As best as he's going to get. He's gotten worse.
Listen, I can empathize with all of that, except this.
And he's right. That's the good thing about Chris. He gets to the meat of the bone.
I mean, it's pretty graphic, right? You know better, Vincent.
I'm an idiot.
Yeah, exactly. He does know better. So that attraction that he's got is there. It's never going to go anywhere. It will always have been there, regardless of his situation. It's whether he would have decided to act upon it if his life, if he'd have had his shit together.
I mean, you shouldn't be sending pictures of your genitals to a 12-year-old girl, right?
I fucked up again. There's nothing else I can say, but I fucked up again.
Well, how else have you effed up?
School, my life.
Dude, this isn't just a fuck up like failing an exam. This is a monumental fuck up of biblical proportions as far as your life is concerned.
Everything.
Do you have any hobbies?
Not really. I like driving and I like smoking cigars, but I can't do that for the rest of my life.
Why?
Because I need to get a job and I need to get structure in my life. And
where are you going to go from here? This is not a good day for you.
what else is new?
You see that's self-pity. So what else is new? You know, that is self-pity. That's not helpful. And you know, it's part of the human condition. We've all been there, but that's what that is.
Never a good day.
There you go.
When did this start for you? When did it get off the tracks for you?
The depression?
Yeah.
It's like since I'm 12, 13, I think it started. I've been through 4 or 5 doctors. Millions of different pill combinations. That's why I wanted shock therapy.
So this guy has a serious condition. As far as depression goes for someone that age, you know what I mean?
I posted on the Whisper app last week because I've been feeling like having the withdrawal and stuff. I said I just want to kill myself, and the nurse from I guess she's in England, she said that there's a shock therapy, and I looked it up and I told my doctor about it, but he.
I mean, he said he was gonna. I believe him. I believe he was suicidal. It's just difficult to. I'm torn. There's part of me that feels sorry for him, and there's part of me that doesn't, because I feel sorry for him and his life situation, but I don't feel bad for him getting caught doing what he's done. I suppose that it's like I said, you've just got to, ask yourself. I mean, we don't know whether he would have done this if he'd have had shit together, for certain.
He doesn't want to do it, and he wants to wait and see if the pills work. I'm tired of seeing if the pills work.
Okay. Well, what you did here is hard to excuse, Vincent. But I hope you get help with all your other stuff.
I just want to die. My life is miserable.
More of the self-pity. I think it's because it's starting to wrap up, and Chris isn't, asking him and seeming interested about his life situation anymore, because it's, because he's got all the information that he wants. He's throwing the self-pity at him now. Feel sorry for me. I'm pathetic. That's the route he's going down. When earlier he was just being honest and opening up.
Well, nobody wants you to die. All right, listen to me. Vincent, there's some people over there who are going to get you on the next step to get better, okay? Okay? I take no glee in any of this, by the way.
And he doesn't, Chris is being honest, he doesn't at all. There's been times when he's been there and he's got satisfaction from seeing the guys get stitched up, and he, I don't think there's any of us that wouldn't have done at some situation, but I think he genuinely feels sorry for him here. You can just tell.
I take no glee in any of this.
Sure.
I got 2 boys,
Well, exactly. He's just saying, he's looking at this guy as a kind of father, and he's like, fucking hell, they're not too, they're not too. Because I think that when you have children, you can become a bit more. You can become more empathetic as a person. Empathetic is probably the wrong word, but you can become more caring because it changes your whole dynamics on life. And I think that's what Chris is saying. He's like, well, I've got kids, that you're near to your age. I don't, the caring side of him is coming to the surface,
So man to man, will you look at me for a minute?
And that, for him to say, will you look at me? It's not just like he's saying it because he feels he has to. He genuinely wants to help him. That's why he wants him to look in the eyes, because he's trying to make sure that he can do the best he can in that short period of time.
Will you promise to get some help, please? This too shall pass.
Philosophical words of advice. Fucking hell.
But you gotta get
I've
help.
never seen Chris like this before.
Do you promise me?
I wish I just had a heart attack, but I was overdosing on the Adderall.
Look at me. Look at me. Do you promise me you will get help?
Yes, I don't want to be like this anymore with this. I need this.
Okay, so can we make...
It's interesting, isn't it? Does he mean that? I don't want to be like this. Of course he doesn't want to get caught. Nobody wants to feel like shit consciously. Unconsciously we can do it to ourselves, but consciously nobody is consciously insane. It is a form of insanity to go down the path that he has been. You know, the species is insane if you're going to look at us on a whole. If some alien race was going to look at us and judge us, we'd say a ridiculously egotistical, insane species with brief moments of peace. That's probably how this sums up.
Make this a turning point for you?
Yes.
Is dark as this looks right now.
It's dark.
Okay. But there's no way to go but up from here.
That exactly, he's fucking spot on there. You know, this too shall pass, and dude, this is as low as you can go. You know, it really is.
Go easy. Go easy. So you will get help. All right. Will you do me a favor? Will you leave the knife? Leave the knife right here. Take your hat and glasses. And then once you head right out this way, it's
That's where my coat. Is it even?
I'll get the
Go out there.
I'll get the
Oh God.
All right, get some help, all right?
Which way?
Go on this way.
This the garage.
Straight through, yeah.
Stop right there, sir, please. Hands behind your back. What do you just shoot me?
Yeah, the sofa is just.
You got anything on you?
Now, isn't it? It's always really got left.
Where's that?
In the kitchen.
Anything in your pockets? Anything sticking us hurt?
Phone stuff's in there. That's it.
Okay. Nothing in your jacket?
Yes, for your lace one?
Open. Attaboy.
Trust me, I understand.
Okay, all right. Okay.
Where's your knife? You got it?
It's in the kitchen on the island.
Got it right here. So? Okay.
Nothing else, right?
All right, sir, come have a seat here in this corner.
Nice and easy. Nice and easy.
If anyone watching this in the unlikely event has had any affiliation with NBC and has the car footage from the lawn sting, I will pay you a check of $1,000. Check's one, I'll be honoured.
Someone will be right with you, sir, okay? You alright back there, man?
Feature. So if I turned around when none of this happened?
What's that?
If I had turned around and none of this happened?
We'll talk about that in a little bit, okay?
I'll have to go back, I didn't hear that then.
You alright back there, man?
Feature. So if I turned around when none of this happened?
What's that?
If I had turned around and none of this happened?
We'll talk about that in a little bit, okay?
If I turned around and none, I don't know.
I can't answer
what
what
that's
I
about.
okay?
I do what I should do.
Alright, no problem.
I do is being stupid.
Alright, try to relax, alright?
Hi, Vincent. I'm Detective Irizarry.
Why
My name's Beth. What do you want to be called, Vincent?
I don't care.
What do people call
Slide
you?
over, scooch over a little bit. When everyone's in and ready to go, rock it open.
Good.
Everyone has
Better?
Yeah.
Try it. If you lean maybe a little bit forward, are you leaning on them? Because it's going to hurt you. You can even almost turn sideways if you want. We're going to process you for what happened today. We're going to speak to you about it. And that's essentially it. You work?
I take care of my grandfather.
Is that like a full-time job?
Yeah, pretty much. I don't
You live
remember.
in the house with you?
Yeah, we put an addition on last year. Built it ourselves.
It's not easy.
It's very debilitating disease, Parkinson's.
Oh, yeah, that's it. So what we're going to do is go into booking. We're going to process you. And, we'll talk a little bit about it. And we probably like to just speak to you privately. Yeah, we're going to walk up and up the level, okay? Sergeant Ferris.
We'll take a look at this. Why not?
You're interested in the police work, right? My dad was a cop. Your dad was a cop?
Oh, right. That's very interesting.
Wasn't it?
Jesus Christ.
Was. Okay. What would you like to tell me?
Well, like I told the guy, just my life's a mess.
Yeah.
Right, it's not what she wants to hear, dude.
I understand you're dealing with some medical stuff and getting your medication balanced out correctly. And I know you said bipolar. Is it bipolar depression?
Yeah, bipolar depression.
Okay. Well, we've been communicating.
I ripped this footage from Joey's TCAP channel, so I must thank him for getting this, because all I do is press record and chat shit, where some people actually go out of their way to get this stuff, so we have to be grateful.
With this young girl, what did you think her name was?
Janet.
Okay. And how old did you think she was?
12, she said.
Okay. Did she send you pictures too?
Mm-hmm.
And did she look 12?
Yeah, I really didn't want to come, but I thought it was wrong.
Oh, I didn't really want to come. Where have we heard that before?
But she just kept persisting. So.
Oh, dude. Oh, you're really letting yourself down here. She just kept persisting, Zul. She used her female powers on me.
I'm usually a kind person.
Oh, dude. He's just... He's sidestepping responsibility. Like I said, with it, I understand it. Is anybody going to voluntarily give up the freedom? Very few, but it's not the right way to go about, dealing with this. I don't want to be like this anymore, is what he said before. Well, you've got to admit it, but, self-preservation's kicking in, isn't it?
I was just trying to be friendly.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
I didn't want to do anything to her.
Oh, you're not doing yourself any favours here. Here I am trying to, give this balanced view of, should we feel sorry for him? Not necessarily should we give him a break, but is there another side to this? Is there a hope for him? And he's not helping himself with all this.
You didn't want to do anything to her, or you knew you shouldn't have done anything to her?
Both.
You were
Both. We can't have it both ways, dude.
talking to her, I think this past Friday, saying, we will probably have sex. LOL, I'm really horny. I want your young pussy so bad.
Yeah.
Do you understand the damage of just saying something like that to a 12-year-old?
Obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously, right. Okay, well, at least... I mean, I think this is an edited part of the interview, so we don't know how long has elapsed between that, but whether he's doing it consciously or not, it's just a total admittance of his of guilt there.
And
He obviously understood, like it was a silly question, that of course it's dangerous to send that to a 12-year-old.
A dick picture to a 12, it may be the first time they've ever seen a penis.
Uh-huh.
So you've changed their world forever from sending that. So did you know that ahead of time?
What I will say, and I'm not saying it's the case here because he does know, but you could make the case with some of them, they don't fully understand the actions and the full consequences that they will take. It's not in their field of awareness. That to them it's just like, oh, this kid wants it, I'll give it to her. Of course it's wrong, it's disgusting, and they should be fucked up, these guys. But you can't behave appropriately without the awareness. But I would say that he's already here demonstrated that awareness by saying obviously. If he meant what he said then, and I do think there's a part of him, his dad was a cop, so he's going to have grown up, regardless of how we know his dad's treated him, he's going to have had some kind of value system and moral judgment system.
I guess, yeah, the back of my life I did, especially with the bad tree.
Is there anything on your phone?
And here we go, guys.
That we're going to find?
There was a link in my notes.
A link in my notes.
With stuff with young girls.
What kind of stuff with young girls?
Videos.
And they look like girls under 16?
Yeah.
Having intercourse?
Yeah.
Have you ever tried to hurt yourself?
Yeah, once I had taken 20 of Dad's oxycodone.
When was that?
That was a year ago.
I believe him. Yeah.
Okay. Just made me tired. I thought maybe it'd kill me.
20. Is that attention seeking, or is that a genuine attempt at suicide?
Did you ever talk about that with
him? The videos on his computer, on his phone, that shows a side of him that obviously, I mean, we've already, to be honest, it doesn't really change anything. It's like I've said earlier in the video, this guy is one of those people, a proper, and he's not an opportunist. He has a attraction, quite a strong one, to children.
Doctor?
No, I never said that to anybody.
No.
Except Mom.
Okay. So yeah, that's the end of it. I thought I might have to split it up, but I got through the rest of it. Definitely going to be talking about this guy a bit more because this whole situation brings up, in my opinion, a lot of interesting questions. So many elements to it. You've got the fact that we don't know I might do a bit of digging. I've not done the full research with regard to exactly what was found on his phone. You know, the age of the girls, because I think that's important. And you've got this medical side of it. You know, the fact that he's so young. It's interesting. I understand the views that people have. It just pisses me off when I try and give a balanced view and people are like, you're just you're sticking up for him. Well, if you see it that way, then so be it. But that's not the case. I'm trying to understand it because, you know, we're still a human being. A bad one, but he's still a human being. Good people can turn bad and bad people can turn good. It's the nature of our existence. So yeah, guys, please, regardless of what they may be, even if you want to say I'm chatting shit, which does happen, please leave any comments. I'd be very interested to know what you think about what we've seen. I think, like I said, it's interesting. There'll be some more discussions in the future. I may even do a stream on this in just on this guy. I think it could warrant that. Yeah, so guys, thank you very much. I really hope you've enjoyed it. Anyway, let me know what you think, and I'll speak to you soon. I hope you're all doing well. Take it easy.